Hi, Susan. Hello. Hi, Janice.
Hi.
Look like you're working.
Well, I'm trying to print the latest minutes and I'm missing something and I'm exhausted. So, but I'm here.
I sent out a new version.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you all.
And that's what I was trying to print, and I was trying to find where you had changed the Road Town News to Our Town, and I'm not seeing it, so I'm
Well,
missing something.
you won't see it because then I got a update from Linda and she said, make it general news. So. put it
Oh,
under the
okay,
heading of
good, because I've been
general
looking
news.
all
So
over for it. Okay,
You're all good. You're
All
all
right.
good. Yeah,
excellent, thank you.
you're welcome.
So now I gotta find that.
Do you want me to send you another copy?
No, I'm sick of printing things. I know I have it. I just have to find it.
Public
There.
health.
Okay,
Yes,
got it.
Joanne.
All right.
Mute me. Okay. Susan, you're muted.
Yeah. She's got two sites
You
going,
might be having speaker problems, so
echoing. Yeah,
Yes.
but-
Okay.
Yes, I tried to correct the echoing. Are you still hearing the echoing?
No,
I'm sorry,
No.
but I'm bad tempered about this because I spent an hour online with Microsoft Office and they made a correction in my use of my microphone, which lasted for one meeting.
Oh,
you sound fine.
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, just if you would just tip your screen a bit. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. We can
Now we
see
can hear
it.
you.
Okay, I need to know, confusion is in the waiting room.
Confusion.
Do we have anybody
That's
legit?
that's maybe Jeanette.
Well, that is not a very helpful thing to have as a name.
I think it is Jeanette.
Yes, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is Jeanette.
Sorry, I'm just a little cranky today.
That's
But
okay.
yeah, but but
She's the
finally
only
get-
one left, right?
Confusion is the name for Jeanette. Not
Okay,
that
well,
she's,
I admitted her.
Okay.
and you have two sites. That's probably why you're getting the echo.
Well, that's
Susan.
why I turned the computer audio off, so there would not be an echo.
We're not hearing it.
Yeah.
Then it worked.
There's Jeanette.
Not seeing her.
No. There she is.
There she is.
All right.
Jeanette,
Okay.
you're muted.
Often that's a good thing.
Yay.
All right.
Hello, everybody. It's good to see you all on this gorgeous day.
Yeah. So I guess we can call ourselves to order at 5:35 p.m. and acknowledge that we are all present on Zoom. And if we just want to announce ourselves, I'm Linda Ava Scott.
Martha
Joanne
Faber.
Bernhardt.
Janice Gray.
Susan Millinger.
And Jeanette.
And Jeanette.
I didn't hear Joanne's name. Sorry.
I said my name. There, I'm here. Joanne Bernhardt.
I had to remember the alphabetical order, so I'm apologizing.
Yeah,
went out of turn.
I started it, so that made it, you know.
I was like, is it A or is it S?
Yes. Anyway, so we want to thank Martha for taking the minutes in our last meeting. And do we have a motion to consider the 4/12/23 minutes?
So moved.
And
Second.
There's a second.
yeah, Jeanette second. Any discussion?
Good job, Martha.
Good job, Martha.
It was very much a group effort. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So we can vote, roll call vote.
Your call vote, Bernhardt, aye.
Barbara, I.
Ray abstain.
Is it Millinger abstain? My turn?
Mhm. Yeah,
Abstain.
Scott, I.
Stockton, I.
Okay, and so you may not have had a chance to see, but I did send you all the actual numbers specifically so Susan would have them and not have to try to write everything down. So
Susan appreciates that.
good. So the April balance was $3,159.43. We allocated $1,000 for fourth quarter fitness classes, and April foot care was $190. That gives us a balance of $1,969.43, and an estimate of $365 for May and June foot care leaves us with an unallocated balance of $1,604.43. So there you go. That's where we are.
And this is the end of the fiscal year, to the end of the fiscal year,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And this will carry over into next year
If we don't spend it all by the end of June,
anymore.
we
Yeah.
we just carry over and is, we just continue to spend. Yeah, we don't lose it. So, any questions? Okay. So the next item is excuse me, I just got distracted. I heard a thump, but it was just my cat. Transportation survey and any other updates. So I'll just say that at the end of when we talked about the survey at our last meeting, we were uncertain about how an electronic version would be possible. Joanne did a lot of work at trying to figure out if we could use SurveyMonkey. She spent quite a bit of time and consulted with Marianne and Penny Jakes and
Meryl.
Meryl, yes, ended up finding out that what we want to do isn't possible in free SurveyMonkey. So then we thought about the possibility of putting it as a PDF on our webpage. So Gail Fleischaker graciously created a PDF out of the survey, a writable or fillable PDF. And so when our town comes out, we get it in our mailbox. Gail will then post the survey on our webpage. She'll put, the instructions on our webpage and then you can, a link to the PDF. People can fill it out and then email it to the COA. So
Impressive.
that's the plan. So, yeah.
Okay. Martha.
I'm curious, what would be the cost of having, a monkey survey so that we could, if in the future we wanted to do surveys, Is it reasonable priced?
It's not for what we want to do. It's on an annual basis. And when I got the survey done, as you all had so nicely, written in and formatted it,
Yes.
it said, I was just about to get to the point of being able to post it. And it said paid elements, which meant that you had to go to one of it wasn't free anymore. And the paid elements were the comment boxes where people could write in things.
Okay.
And for that pleasure, it would cost about $400 a year. Which I thought, because we wanted this survey done, but who knows if we would want another survey done within the next year,
Right.
that was a lot for this particular thing. So I'm very grateful to Linda and Gail Fleischhacker for moving on Plan B to do the PDF and do it in a different way. It would have been
Great.
easier
Thank
if
you.
SurveyMonkey had been able to, if we'd been able to do that, it would have been easier, but it wasn't worth the money to do it.
That makes sense. Thanks.
Janice?
I just want to update people. The original, hopefully in mailboxes date for the R Town was May 15th, but because of my unexpected hospitalization and treatments, that's not reasonable anymore. So Becky, so now we're aiming for May 21st or 22nd rather, just so you're aware of that. That's all I wanted you to know.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. For the mail, for it to go out?
No, for people to hit people's mailboxes. I'm
Okay.
working on the annual report now, which I have to get done first. And then I'll put together the R Town, which should be relatively easy, but I can't control when it arrives in the mail.
Okay. Right.
So that'll be
So
the,
then
go
the
ahead.
survey will arrive with the R Town in the mailed version. It will hit the COA website in the PDF version.
Mhm.
And a further question would be, do we want to have some paper copies for town meeting?
Well, since we asked people to do their surveys by the 5th of June,
Well, they could fill it out and turn it in on
Yep.
site. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's not going to be, why not?
I mean, if it doesn't get there by June 5th, it's not a big deal anyway, so.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's usually a table with all of the information, right? The printed copies of everything.
Yeah.
So we could have, just a one-page thing that people could fill out and throw in the Dropbox.
But what would it look like? Because the R Town article is going to be different from the printable PDF visually. I just don't know what I have to do to make a thing that
Well,
explains what it is.
we can, hold on just for a second. I mean, there's, I have the Word version of the survey, so all we have to do is print that and make copies from it.
Okay.
Maybe a few additional instructions like, please return this to the town Dropbox.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at that if you like. And Linda, can we print at town hall now?
Of course, why, yeah, of course, yep,
Okay,
Yeah.
and how many copies do you think we should do?
25.
25? Okay,
Yeah, I don't see a reason to do any, since everybody's will have their own town. They'll have the
Right.
opportunity to send, to submit digitally, and it's not, we can make a little just, placard or some kind of, stand up little card that says, if you haven't filled out your transportation survey, please do so. Put
okay.
it in Dropbox.
Martha?
I gotta, is it worth, I'm thinking, sometimes people don't do these things. Sometimes they don't stop at the table. You know, I'd be willing to kind of go through the crowd as people are gathering and just ask people,
Mhm.
you know, the, anybody that looks like, what are we saying? It's 65, right? And older, you know, have they filled it out? Would they like an opportunity to fill it out? I mean, do we have access to a few clipboards and we could just give it to them and,
It's
Maybe they
not
could fill-
65 and older anymore.
oh, that's right, we're doing
55.
everybody,
We're doing everybody.
right?
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean, whatever everybody wants to do, you know, I think we don't, you know, Susan?
It just seems to me that if we provided it in our town and provided a link, that that is quite sufficient.
Mhm.
I
And
don't know,
we
I
have-
mean,
The other piece that I was planning to suggest that we do, or, that I would be happy to do, because I have the links, I think I still have the link. Is to put out a town announce as soon as the newsletter is in the mailboxes, to put out a town announce from the COA. Saying,
Mhm.
you know, please complete your survey. You know, there's a survey, you know, whatever, some sort of, you know,
Okay.
upbeat little message that says, you know, it's in our town, and there's also a link on our webpage. Please do so. And having some copies at town meeting is sort of the, you know, default,
Mhm.
you know, and if Martha, you want to, you know, circulate around, that would be great. And also we want people, you know, we make an effort to put it in the our town, and, you know, we want people to please read their our towns.
yeah, I mean, there's desire and there's reality, so I'm just,
Yeah.
you know, it would be
Yes.
nice, I'm trying to get some data.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, we got a captured audience at town meeting, and it's,
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
so,
Mhm.
I mean, you know, the library cleanup has been going on for 10 years and my neighbors are telling me they never heard of it. It's just like, I
Mhm.
don't know what, you know,
Yeah.
so that's in the newspaper too.
Jeanette,
Jeanette,
turn your volume on.
Jeanette, you're muted.
We had a phone call simultaneously. I was just gonna say, piggybacking on Martha's comment, village neighbors, what is that? I mean, I hear that so many times. It's, I would say it's frustrating, but you just have to let it go and move on. And everyone walks into that town meeting mostly from up above. You could just be right there. In fact, we could give out little tiny cookies if you fill it out.
Susan,
Well, I guess I'm not really sure why we've gone to all this trouble to put it in our town and to do it, put it online, if we're gonna be hitting people up at town meeting. I certainly think it's a great idea at town meeting to have some sort of sign, ideally, if we could even make the announcement, you know, reminding people to do their survey, but reminding people to do their survey and where they can find it is different from giving it to people who may be collecting other documents and may or may not pay any attention to them.
right? Yep, because people are mostly, you know, they come to town meeting, they're mostly interested in the warrant, and, you know,
That's fine, yeah.
appreciate Susan's observation, and come to think of it, I mean, having some copies available is great, if, you know, because, you know, it is a captive audience, and there is a time at the beginning of town meeting for boards and committees to make reports. Few do, but it would be fine if one of us was bold enough to get up to the microphone and say, you know, remind people about the survey. You know, it's not going to be me. But
Yeah, I hear you, Susan. I mean, it's like there's this whole process, and does it just defeat the process? I don't know. I'm just,
Mhm.
yeah. it's an
Yeah.
offer in terms of, how can we get the data? I guess the people that read the newspaper and interested enough to fill it out
Yes,
will do that, hopefully.
and we're gonna put out a town calling attention to the survey. And if one of you are willing to just, when it's the
Hmm.
time for reports, to get up and just say, please fill out your survey. We can do that.
I would be willing if
Happy
no,
to- Oh, yeah,
Martha, would you like to do it?
sure,
Great.
we'll do it.
Okay, that'd be,
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and the other piece is once the survey comes out, I'll give the folks at Town Hall, particularly Ellen and Grace, a heads up that surveys will be coming in the Dropbox, and they put them in our
Okay,
mailbox at Town Hall. So after June 5th or so, we'll have to, I'll be away, but for a bit, but maybe.
yeah,
Joanne-
I'll check.
Yeah,
yeah.
that'll be great, yeah.
Mhm.
Joanne, is that you volunteering to check?
I will check, yes,
Okay, thank
for,
you.
for return surveys, yeah.
Great, great. So, anything else on transportation?
I got a question. Emma,
Martha?
so the surveys are collected, how are we gonna tabulate the data?
Mhm.
Good question. I was kind of thinking when we meet in June, we'll have that'll be when we'll have them.
Okay,
And then
Mhm.
I'll be collecting the email, any that are emailed using the fillable PDF. And Joanne will collect the paper copies. And
Mhm.
so
And we'll put them together before our next meeting.
before our.
Linda,
our-
are you here? When are you gone?
So, our next meeting will be June 14th. I'll be here, I'll be attending, but I will be on the West Coast. So
Okay,
I will be able to present the totals. I should have I can't speak. Any that come into the COA email, I'll be able to compile those.
mhm. And I'll have the paper copies by then, hopefully, and I'll try and make some kind of grid sheet to see, see how it works out with the data.
And maybe someone else might work with you, because it's easier if you have two people, one reading and one
Mhm.
checking.
Mhm.
Okay,
I'll have
Jamie?
to see how I am doing at that point. I hopefully will be over the exhaustion that radiation treatments are causing by then, but I will need a ride to wherever we're going to be doing this. If we're going to be doing it in person.
in person, what? Janice?
The working with you on the grid.
Oh, I'll just do this and I'll send it around to people.
Oh, okay.
I don't
That
think
sounded
you'll
like
need to come
someone
in.
thought you might need
Yeah.
help.
Well, I may need help, but
Yeah,
I'll try not to.
I was just thinking it's
Susan?
sometimes easier to, Susan, Susan?
Okay, I just wanted to comment, and you all may have already thought about this. The league is dealing with a survey now that had space for comments. And it's one thing to compile the returns for, the fill in the blank type question or check here, but when you get comments, it's another challenge because you basically have to just collect all the documents. you know, all the comments. And one thing we've talked about is if you can identify the key concepts and kind of compile with an emphasis on a list of the key concepts with how many responded to each one, that simplifies the task. You really don't want to have to reread every single comment, I would think. Does that make sense to people?
Well, yeah, but with the with the Life Path survey, when I was doing those meetings, they had the data, and then they had a separate place underneath the data where they just listed the comments. So
Well,
in looking at we'll see how many comments there actually are. We may be able just to list them, or Susan, as you suggested, to do them in terms of themes. But we really won't know until we get all the surveys back and see what people have to say.
right, correct.
But I'll call on you.
Yeah, and if Janice is doing something that requires a ride, I will give her a ride.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
were suggesting that you and another person can work by one of you reading the data and the other and putting it into the form, the grid that you've created, that they can do that.
I
Yes?
think it was on an Excel thing, and I know how to do that. So I think I will be able to work with it that way.
Good, because I'm not good
I'll
at
see.
Excel, says Janice.
We'll see. We'll see.
I can help you
Yeah.
out too, Joanne.
Thank you. My computer skills are minimal.
But, we'll prevail somehow, right?
We'll figure it out. We
Yeah.
will figure it out. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So then what's the next step after we get this data? Does it go to the select board then? Is that the next step?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we need some kind of I guess an introductory message, and then the survey data, and then the conclusions, right? In some kind of format,
Yeah.
which I can do. So a report to the select board on the findings. Is that right?
Yeah. So at our next meeting, we'll review the findings
Mhm.
as a group. We'll have a chance to talk about them and talk about what we want to say, to the select
Okay.
board.
Okay, good.
Okay. That's
The
what we
select board probably appreciated if our report was concise.
Yes,
Yes.
3x5 card.
Well, maybe not quite that concise, Joanne.
So anything else on transportation? Okay. So,
Okay.
phew, all right. So the next item we have on our agenda, well, actually, the next three items are carryovers from our prior meeting. And we have had a little bit of conversation about, whether programming is the next item and whether or not we want to plan something. And of course, now summer's coming and maybe, we don't want to plan something, but anyway, nevertheless, topic is programming.
Okay. We did talk before, this is Joanne, we did talk before about someone from LifePath talking to us about all the possibilities that LifePath offers. Did Village Neighbors do that, Martha and Jeanette? How did that go?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry. Yes, they did come. And they highlighted everything. Unfortunately, I think that person left soon after that meeting, so a lot of paperwork they were gonna send us, we never got, which would have been nice to share with you. I just wanted to mention at our board meetings now, we're adding just a speaker from whatever we might be interested in. We had Trevor, somebody on Rides for Health from Life Path just present yesterday. And that's been kind of cool. But I find getting people out, getting people doing workshops and things like that, it's a little daunting. Or one might say
Was this in
heartrending.
person?
Um,
Was it in person?
either. I mean, you know, we have our event on the 21st, and we're making phone calls to members to see if they're coming and to get a ride. And it's just like, either people are coming or they aren't, but it's like, I'm not feeling a lot of buy-in to workshops and the like. So just wanted to mention that.
I was interested in seeing what was going to happen with the police chief, the police chief's workshop. I'm sorry, is that Saturday or is that tomorrow? I'm not sure. See, I don't even know when it is.
It's tomorrow, isn't it? Tomorrow evening?
Tomorrow. Yeah. I'm interested to see what the turnout's going to be live for that kind of meeting, you know, which is a great topic.
Yeah.
So
Is that on Zoom?
No, it's at the
So
church.
at the church, okay. Is anybody planning on going? Are you going, Joanne, to see the numbers?
I'm sorry, I have another thing for my husband
Oh.
that night that I have to carry him to.
Yeah, I'm sure we
He's
can
not
get
walking at
them
the
after the
moment, so.
fact.
Interesting, yeah.
And is that the scamming?
Yes.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So we'll see if people start to turn out, you know, because we've been isolated and on Zoom for so long that I don't know how people are going to turn out in person. We have some other ideas for things we can do, for workshops that we can do, but it also is going to depend on whether people will, if we think people are going to come out for it.
Well, and where we would hold it, because that's another issue altogether.
Mhm. Is the town hall open now officially?
It's open, but nothing's, you know, it's not. If downstairs, at least the last time we were there, Joanne,
Yes.
it's not like, you know, set up in the way it used to be for, you know, for people to meet. And you know, I don't know. I mean, I think we'll see what happens. I think let's see what happens with the scamming, you know, the police chief's workshop. And
Marianne has been holding workshops there on I think Sundays, and some of them have been very well attended.
downstairs.
Yeah.
Mhm. Which of those workshops are they?
They're kind of like art, different art
Oh,
things.
the fiber arts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And in
Martha has-
the end, there's still lots of people coming to the exercise workshops. So, you know, people picking
In
their
person?
choose. No, I don't think in person.
No, they're all in, you know, all
Yeah.
on Zoom. All the exercise classes are on Zoom. And will probably
Mm.
stay that way for quite some time. Martha?
I have a question. So is there any interest in terms of any sort of social aspect for the older people in town, or do you think they're more concerned still about COVID in terms of like, I mean, because prior to COVID, there used to be lunches, if I'm not mistaken.
We had a monthly potluck lunch downstairs, and actually there were just a handful,
Oh,
I mean, really a handful of people that came other than town employees,
okay.
correct? Susan and Janice.
Free,
Yeah.
but they were nice. For those of us who came, they were very nice.
They were really nice. But what I'm saying is that they were consistent every month on the same day, you know, and so it was well publicized, and rarely did anyone new come. Sometimes we would, there might be like there may have been a yoga class or something, and we might, you know, like get somebody to stay, and, you know, we'd say we have plenty of food, come join us, and people might come one time, but really, truly, it was just a handful of people and town hall employees that came.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have a sense for people crying out for activities other than, you know, people are definitely interested in the physical yes, and the craft stuff, art craft stuff. Those are very attractive to people, to a limited group, because only a limited group can take.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, no, it's free. All of them are free.
Yeah.
I mean, when we had, let's think about some of the things that we held pre-pandemic. And so I'd say that we had a Saturday series of programs done by Kathy Sward. Those were very well attended because she's well known, and many people from her classes attended. And we had quite a few other people come to those classes. However, when we had a really important program offered by the senior Medicare Patrol, which was excellent, nobody came except for us.
Wow.
And, you know, so it's, you know, that was before the pandemic, and nobody came.
Right.
But, you know, we did have 2 successful programs that were at the AC.
Yes.
One of them was the
Yes, we
dinner.
did.
I believe it was a dinner combined with palliative care people.
Yes, that was very well attended.
Very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And we also had the evening, I don't remember whether there was a meal attached or not, in which we played the game whose name I cannot remember.
We played bingo.
We played bingo, and Becky told us we couldn't do it again because it was gambling. But I have heard that the legislature has enabled senior groups to play bingo. It's not a no-no anymore.
Well, very good. Yes, that was that evening, I believe that the Friends of the Library did the dinner, and we had the bingo.
Yeah.
We agreed after the dinner that we prepared for prior to the palliative care presentation that we would not ever do a dinner again.
It's too much work for us.
Too much work.
Or
And
too-
at that time we had Melissa.
Yeah, and she did.
We had, you know, we had her energy, and she brought, you know, her husband came, and, you know, anyway, but we said, even David said, we're not doing that again. I mean, we might be able to do it now, but at that point in time, it was a lot. But it was, you're right, Susan, that was a very well attended program.
Yeah. So if that's true that we could do bingo, if we knew that enough people would be comfortable coming out into a space to do it, that might be an option. But you know, I would think of something like that might be in the fall. It's in the fall where and in the winter when you're inside more. Than when people are out walking and working in their gardens and seeing other people. That's my.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the bingo, that was David Wheeler's, you know, that was his project. Remember?
Yeah.
He was the one that borrowed the equipment from Amherst, and yeah.
Jeanette?
There is a pretty, a dinner, well, there's dinners on Thursday nights and Friday nights, rather than us thinking, or we thinking that we need to put on a dinner, we could simply tag team with something that already exists. Like
Yeah.
Thursday night, for example,
Mhm.
Becca Wheeler, David's wife, I mean, she's up there every Thursday night having dinner, and there's a good crowd of people
Mhm.
sometimes.
Mhm,
So we could, just do it that way.
Mhm.
mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
We don't have to do everything.
Great. The other thing that was very successful in this fall, was the butterfly swing band where people were dancing.
Oh.
And it was the first library dinner. Jeanette, you did it. It was the
Mhm.
lasagna dinner.
Mhm.
And there were a lot of people who came out. I
Mhm.
think it was one of the first opportunities for people to come out after COVID. So everyone was very happy to be there.
Hmm.
And that's something, if the library wanted to do a dinner and we could attach the butterfly swing band to it. They're local.
Yep.
And COA could pay butterfly swing band and the library could do the dinner. So that's an idea. The other idea that I had was in talking to all my friends who have cell phones that they don't know how to use. Some kind of thing, this would have to be in person and probably in town hall where there would be people there who could actually help hands-on. But something like how to get the most out of your cell phone, or how to even learn what your cell phone can do for you. Because we use, I know I use email, and I use like maybe 4 or 5 functions, but there are tons of things on there that I don't even know about. And everybody else says, in my age group, says the same thing. I don't know what to do with it. Jeanette?
Earlier in maybe 6 months or a year ago, I can't remember now, there was an initiative that I believe was maybe coming from Wellesley College or some college, and it was a group of technically oriented young people who actually came to, I think, a few different sites, different senior centers. Maybe I have no details, but I mean, we could reach out to something like that, do something like that, and
Well,
set
that,
up a
or
day.
there are people in our town who know how to do these things.
For sure.
I would imagine Gail Fleischhacker would know how to, to structure something like that, or who are the
Meryl.
other techie people?
Meryl is very techie.
Yeah, Graham Sefton is, there are enough
Yes.
people we could get to probably volunteer to do that. If we think that people would come inside for it, that's the question. Would they come in? Because I would see it being more at town hall. What do you think?
Janice speaking. I'm one of those people that struggles with cell phones, and I'd come.
Okay.
If I could get a ride, maybe by then I'll be able to drive again. So
Well,
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So would we want to look at something like fall for that? Again, it would be, I think you're right about summer, people out gardening and being outside. But maybe in fall we could try to get people inside for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, yeah.
For that kind of a, yeah, it would be helpful if he were able to divide it between, Android and iPhone, because, the Apple products, they are a little different. And if they had,
Right.
I mean, when you get computer people, having sat through many lectures at school, when they upgraded operational systems, they fly through the stuff. So it would be helpful if we could get people, I mean, I'd be happy to help people with iPhones, just kind of, all right, these are the things, and then have people that can kind of go around and help people actually do it there. Because I think that the hands-on is what's very helpful.
Right.
Absolutely. I have had the same experience of Martha, being taught by computer people who weren't effective teachers, and the college finally got smart and hired somebody who wasn't a great computer person, but he was a great communicator. And that, and individuals, yeah.
Right.
So that maybe with a slide presentation or a PowerPoint or something where you could see something up on a screen and then, you know, have someone explain it and then come around and help people.
Mhm.
When we all sit there going, "Ah!" Yeah,
More than one person, too.
Right,
need-
right,
okay. Some people.
Yeah.
right, right. We can think of that whoever plans it. But
So,
Okay, so we have two ideas. We have bingo with a library dinner, right?
Uh-huh.
And or maybe the dance thing, the butterfly swing band.
mhm.
And then the phone. So that's three things that we could think of doing. Okay, that probably will be what we could accomplish in the fall, I would imagine. If even that, or one or two of those things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
one of those.
Yeah. So do we want to, what should we do for next steps for the next meeting? To maybe, I don't know, pick one, decide, I don't know what you want to do in terms
Well,
of proceeding.
we know that people come to the athletic club already. That's already going on, right? So maybe one of the things that could be at the athletic club.
Right, so it's bingo
Um,
or dance, and just saying that bingo, that's a project, we have to borrow the equipment. We have to get donations. For the prizes. So those are the things,
Okay.
these are some of the details that would have to be attended to for
Mhm.
bingo.
And if
Or we
we're,
could
piggyback-
ask Marianne if we want to partner with her on the band. Because that would, for us, not be any work. If the library puts on the dinner.
Mhm.
I mean,
And
that, the band would be there playing, we would fund it, but we wouldn't have to necessarily. It wouldn't be a lot of work for the Council on Aging.
Mhm.
I don't think the bingo preparations would be, I mean, it's terrible if we could still borrow the equipment from the senior center in Amherst. And I don't think, could go shopping and pick up some inexpensive, interesting.
Yeah. I'm not familiar really with bingo, so I don't know what that entails in terms of.
Well, it's, you have to have the equipment, so you need the doohickey and the cards and the things you put on the cards. Yeah, and then what we did was we asked for donations. We approached different places for, gift cards or that kind of thing for prizes.
And we have to have somebody who announces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many prizes do you usually give?
We did it one time, Jeanette.
Okay,
and
no,
it was-
because I'm just like Trader Joe's is super good at giving stuff and
No, it
having just gone through it and Target, yeah, it
Yeah, I
seems
mean,
not so hard.
we did it, I don't remember because it was, again, that was really, it was, David Wheeler and Melissa were the like MCs.
Mhm.
And it was really well attended because families came and,
Mhm.
it was a lot of
Mhm.
fun. And I don't remember. I mean, I don't remember how many games we did. Maybe 5, something like that. And then we had some prizes for the winners.
So
Let me talk to Becca about it. She may remember, okay?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
it was, like I said, it was David who contacted the Amherst Senior Center about borrowing their equipment. And,
Okay, I'll ask Becca what she remembers.
okay, Susan?
Susan,
Hey, two things. One is I think I need to check on the legality of it for us
Okay,
thank you.
before very far in the planning. But also it seems to
Okay.
me Senior Center in Amherst has the equipment. They probably have somebody down there who talks about, who will give us some advice about running it,
Mhm,
about how many games you can expect to play and how many prizes people, that kind of thing.
Okay,
that's a great idea. And I do know that senior centers are doing bingo because in our email, we get the MCOA has a daily digest where people, it's like a little chat thing and people put in their questions and often it's about what kind of bingo machine did you buy?
Okay. No, that,
not like a goldfish bowl that you put your hand in, no, okay.
No. Um,
Okay.
So-
So I'll talk to Becca and we'll then maybe move on to the Amherst Senior Center about the bingo issue, okay?
Mhm.
If Susan wants to make sure that we're being legal.
Well, I think if
Um,
COAs are doing it, it's clearly legal.
mhm.
and what are they gonna do to us anyway?
It's fine us probably. Yeah, slap our
Right,
hand not to do it
Right, the
again.
Gestapo the bingo police will be out, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it was Becky who was the bingo police.
Yeah,
Who?
We could complete it with a drag show.
no, we did not. And
Oh,
we-
yeah,
That would be
I'm kidding.
cool.
I'm kidding.
Shutesbury Neighborhood Drag Show, yes. Bring your children.
Okay, so we'll have an update for the next meeting on what we've learned about bingo and yeah, and then some more thinking about the tech, how to approach a tech
Mhm. Okay.
seminar, tech seminar.
I'm just trying to remember the task list here. Is someone going to ask Mary Ann if the library wants to be involved in this dual evening?
I will.
Okay.
I heard, maybe I'm wrong about this. I heard that the library was being asked to feed the crowd at the Butterfly String Band and Swing Band, and that the other event might be attached to an existing meal on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah. That, right. So Thursday could be the bingo, bingo as well. Yeah.
So we would be talking to the the athletic
Whoever
club.
does the
Right.
Thursday meal, yeah.
Her name is
Yeah.
Jen.
Sorry?
Usually, her name is Jen, usually, although recently the head of the place did one of the nights. Yeah. She's actually cooking for the event in 2 weeks.
For the village
Village
neighbors.
Neighbors, yes. And while I'm on that topic, if anyone is village neighbor, member, or volunteer and would like to join us for that, it should be nice. We're gonna have raffle baskets. And not that it's gambling, you just have to answer 3 questions, and one of them is about transportation. So that will be interesting to see the
Right.
the results from that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm going to count on the 21st.
Question about the transportation at the Village Neighbors meeting. Do you want to use the same survey format? I mean, do you want to?
Well, for that, I know that Elizabeth wanted to see like what language you were using in terms of questions, but I think you have more questions. I think we're just doing one question, more of an
Okay.
overall, like, do you see yourself in the next 15 years needing public transportation more than you do right now? It's more just of a, kind of.
That's kind of not useful data, though.
It's kind of like raffle data, right? It's raffle, like
Yeah,
answer
it's
these
not,
quick
I mean,
questions to
I mean,
get a ticket.
I'm just
yes or
thinking
no,
about,
but how? how and when and where, that's
But
not
it's-
answering the specific questions that need to be answered in order
Well,
to get this going.
Perhaps one of the reasons she asked to see how you are asking the questions, I just think it's beyond the scope of the, just it's an activity more than anything else.
Okay,
But
yeah,
a reminder that we have already gone before the select board on this very topic a few times. So this will not be really news to them. When we do come forward with our data, it could simply be, yes, here we are again.
Right,
Mhm.
right. We go to the select board, we've already given them our MedRide data, and then we'll
That's
have
right.
current data.
Different folks, different strokes, but still the same need.
Yeah, exactly, and more, because we have more seniors now than when we, we know that we have more seniors now because we qualify for the per senior rate through the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, which we did not before. So, okay, so, all right, so we have some action steps regarding programming, and we'll talk about it at the next meeting. I included, foot clinic, resume in town hall, just as a, at some point. But we don't have to take that up tonight.
Are less people using the opportunity or more? Or is it the same?
It's about the same, it's about the same people. And we've had some, some new people,
Mhm.
and yeah, so it's been pretty consistent. And
Mhm.
a while ago, Sue Gomberg contacted everyone, and
Okay.
and I think everyone was, she contacted everyone who had been a prior client, those that are continuing clients, and either, people learned how to take care of their feet themselves, or they were continuing to get home visits.
Mhm.
And if we did go, I was thinking about it today, if we did go in person, there are still some people who will need home visits, because they're, in a situation where it's more challenging for them to get out. Then, it's easier for them to have their service at home. So I don't know. I mean, the last time Joanne and I looked at our room, it had a whole, I don't even want to talk about it.
It's used for storage for a lot of things.
People put stuff
So
in
it's-
there, we
Yeah.
went and we went and cleaned up our area. There was all kinds of, our phone was unplugged, our phone was all, it was just a mess. And we spent time, we got it all straightened out. And then we went back for something. Oh yeah, when we were doing the MedRide data, and we went down there to do something, I don't know. And there was all this exercise equipment in there, like,
Mhm.
not for us. It was, we don't really know who put it in there.
Right. But I think until people start using those rooms for COA activities, I don't think anything is going to change with that until we make clear that we want that's the senior center space, you
Yeah,
know,
it's fair game.
so,
Well,
yeah.
it
yeah.
shouldn't be, and
Shouldn't be.
and I can tell you, we
Yeah.
went through this. I mean, the room was, there was no seniors, there was no senior room. And then,
Mhm.
the COA, with a group of dedicated volunteers, got the room emptied, and it was new floor, all painted, a lot of old plumbing and all kinds of things taken out of that room. And so it was beautiful, and it was never supposed to be used in the way that it has been. Now, during the pandemic, yes, a lot of appropriate
Mhm.
equipment was in that room so that the Board of Health and staff could access it. But now it's happening again in terms of people just putting stuff in there. And upset, obviously, it really bothers me because we've been through it and getting it cleaned out and, so.
So
Yeah.
it's, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Because if we insist, we told them, okay, we need to empty out that room because we're starting foot clinic again. That would be one approach, and the other approach would be to try to get them to clean it out and then start foot clinic in it. If we thought we wanted to do that.
Well, even if, I think, well, it's a, yeah, I'm not gonna talk anymore about this subject because it really upsets me. Yeah.
I think though, in terms of the foot clinic, it's probably a lot easier for people who have been using that service to just have someone come to their home. If there's not a price differential, what would be the need? It just seems it's easier for them. No? I mean, if we're not losing people, if we're not serving people, because
What, Susan?
I said it's more expensive.
it is. That's
Yeah.
why I was.
I pay full price. Expensive.
It is if people are paying the full amount. It's not if they're just paying what they can and we're making up the difference.
Okay.
But still, I'm sure that I would suspect anyway, I'm not sure, that there's going to be more to pay if people only paying a certain amount and we're making up the difference. We're making up the difference between a much higher line.
Can you say that again, Susan?
Well, what was it before? Was it $60 full pay? And now it's something.
90.
So, and we asked people to pay 30, maybe?
We ask people to pay what they can. We
They
can't.
can. They
we
can.
ask-
I can't ask for a number.
Correct.
But if people were having to judge how much out of 60, and now they're having to judge how much out of 90. And it seems to me unlikely that they're paying, a bigger percent
Mhm.
than they were before, or even the same percent that they were paying before.
They're
Because
paying.
It's
They're
a
paying
lot. It's a lot.
again.
Okay, so, but you're right about that, Susan. You're right. But the other part of it is that, it's been quite a while now that we've been having the home visits, but just around that time, just before the pandemic, Foot Care by Nurses let us know that they would be changing our fee structure for our in-person clinics. And it was going to be more costly because they were going to have a flat rate. And so that, and I would have to be refreshed on this, but it was going to be more costly.
Yes.
I'm not going
right.
to say it's more costly than the home visit program, but it was going before, when we had it in person, there was, a lot of people paid $35. And I forget what the whole bit was, but I think it was not much more than that at that time. But yes, it was $35. And people paid whatever they did towards that. But and so if you had 8 people, then it was 8 times 35. But if you had 6 people, but then what I'm trying to say is that Foot Care by Nurses was going to give us like a surcharge kind of thing, meaning there'd be a base fee plus the fee per client for the in-person clinic, if that makes sense to you, because they were taking into account that the nurse was coming for a set period of time, but if there were cancellations, she'd still be there. And her travel time and so forth. So they were, changing.
But now with the home care, the nurses are having to travel to different places. So their travel expenses are a lot more than they were when they were coming here for half a day.
Right, which is why the fee, part of the reason why the fee is higher,
Yeah.
because the costs of
Mhm.
having travel built into the.
So, but does that matter to us at this point? If it's more convenient for people to have them come to their homes,
Mhm.
which I imagine, as Jeanette said, I imagine it is.
Mhm.
Does that really matter to us in terms of what we're paying Foot Care by Nurses for these visits? Because we do have the funding now from the state for that.
Yes, we do.
I guess, sorry, I would imagine that it's once again, it's like a number crunching thing. If 5 people sign up, they're not going to cancel if someone is coming to their house. They're not going to have to drive up to the town hall. They're probably going to have their appointment. Do we think that there'll be more people coming to an in-person one?
Well,
So serving more people? I mean, what is the purpose of even differentiating?
People do cancel even with home visits, because I've had nurses complain to me about that.
yeah, so just for example, our last foot clinic, not foot clinic, but the last day the nurse came, there were, well, actually, I don't know, one, anyway, but this bill was for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. And our contribution for that was $190. And the actual total was 60, 510, I think, if I've done my math right. The total invoice was for $510. Out of that $510, the COA contributed $190.
Mm-hmm.
And who paid the rest?
Clients,
Fine.
Okay.
clients, yeah.
And these were home visits.
These are all home visits, yeah.
And they're not billable to insurance, or are they?
Oh, I don't think they are they? I was never told they were.
No, it's not like a podiatrist.
It's not, it doesn't sound like it's not doctor
I-
ordered.
Taxes, though, my tax accountant says that's fine.
Say that again, Susan?
Why a lot of people go
I
to the.
do building up medical expenses for my tax.
Mhm,
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
You know, one of these days, they might decide to increase the price for home visits, at which point we might want to rethink this. I mean, we think we're better off now, I guess, with home visits.
It's more about the people receiving care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what it's about, really.
You know, it seems like a similar situation to the lunches that you used to have. There was a group of people who would come. Is it worth having it for those people? Is it worth having the in home? Who are the people? Yeah, of course, it's confidential, but who are the people that are being serviced? Perhaps you can kind of ascertain, like, wow, those people, it's probably really beneficial for them to have someone coming to their home and taking care of them, rather than them having the onus of having to go up to the town hall, etc.
Well, you know, it's
Mhm.
interesting because when we had the in-person clinic, there was a social aspect to that. Because there'd be a volunteer, a COA volunteer there, plus the nurse. The COA volunteer basically would be, you know, like just there to greet people, receive their contribution and schedule the next 2 to 3 months. There'd be sheets out where people could sign up for the next 2 to 3 months. So that person was there.
Mhm.
And then there'd be the, you know, they'd be chatting with people who are waiting, and then, you know, then the person's having their care. So there was a bit of a social
Mhm.
aspect. But yes, you're right. For some people coming, having a home visit is really good.
Mhm.
Yep. And we did have a few clients who received home visits when we were in person. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I guess we'll just keep talking about it and
Mhm.
and
Any thought to asking the people who are getting these services as to whether, you know,
Sue,
not necessarily monkey.
I started to say that Sue Gomberg contacted
Mm,
current and prior clients
mhm.
and asked them, and everyone that she asked who was receiving services, there's just one very older gentleman who would continue to have a need home visits, but everyone else except for one other person said they'd be happy to come back to town hall.
Okay.
Mm.
And that other person said they'd come back when the pandemic was over.
Mhm.
Mhm.
However one, you know, interprets that. But so pretty much everybody, you know, except for, as I said, this one person that,
Mhm.
you know, it would be a hardship for that person to come out.
Mm.
So,
I think there's your answer.
yeah, it's really about, and Sue Gomberg would be willing to do the in-person. It's just,
Mhm.
I guess what I'll do is I'll talk to Sue. How about that? I'll talk to Sue for the next
Okay.
meeting.
Mhm.
There also, I mean, I remember I did it once in town hall. And David Dan was there as the COA representative, but there was also a confidentiality aspect to it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm really bad with things like this, but it's like you weren't supposed to know who the other people were who were coming in. So there was that issue of privacy. And I don't know how to address that with people coming into town hall
Well, it
or
wasn't
to
a
the
problem.
senior room.
I don't think it was a problem before.
No.
I mean, because people who came early did sit in a chair pretty far away from you, but you still saw them and you chatted with them coming and going. And when you signed up for your time slot, I mean, I think there were names there.
Mhm.
Everybody
Yeah.
saw. So it was, the privacy was definitely limited, and it didn't seem to bother people any. It's that I could.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're, and I know that the whoever is there as a volunteer isn't paying attention to the private conversation that the nurse is having with the client.
Mhm.
The volunteer is, you know, like I know because Sue would bring her headphones and listen to something, or, you know, knit or whatever, but you're not, and I've done it too. You're not paying attention to the person. You're just there as a staff, you know, you're volunteering.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I think the door was also closed to that room because it was
Yes.
my chair yoga class that was And it wasn't like there was a line out the door. I mean, people would come and then,
Yeah, people would come for their time and, yeah,
Mhm.
and the door's closed, exactly, for privacy, so other people in town hall aren't gonna wander in.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I'll talk to Sue
Good.
and see how things are for her.
okay.
Okay. Susan Millinger, do you have the energy to give a legislative update, or do you want to carry it
Well,
over?
I mean, I think I could possibly share screen, and I made you the host, Linda.
Okay,
So if you want me to try to share screen, which I'm not terribly successful at.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's see if I could. I had it up, and let's see if it's still there. Come on, let's go. Where do you go? There we go. All right. Okay, so how do I share screen is my question.
Yeah, you just go down the bottom where it says share screen.
Okay, but I'm not seeing that right now, so I have to try to. Okay, let's see. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, there it is.
well done.
Wow.
And if you wanted to see details, I could on this link, it would bring up the legislature's version, but you get the basic point.
Mhm.
It's helping people who had to experience tax payments on, I think, well, the death of an active duty person and the elderly. So
Oh.
it puts off the tax burden. You want me to click on this? More information about it? Okay, let's see.
So this is a change to the provisions that are already there.
Yep. And we could see the preview if we wanted to, but this is something I would be happy to send you the link so that you can see this.
Mhm.
Let's see if I can, if it will, no, let's see. Sorry. But it's being supported by the league, and the league doesn't support something unless it thinks there is a possibility. Let's see if we see petitioners. And if I could scroll down, not being able to, there we go. Oh, go away. If so the league doesn't support something unless it has a certain amount of support, although there only seem to be 2 petitioners attached to it now. So we'll see. So this is something that MCOA has supported in the past. And it's something that if we think it's important, it would be useful for us to correspond to our legislators.
Right, which we can do as individuals.
Yes, which we could do with individuals. Hurt to have a letter from the COA since since COAs are supporting this. Do you think?
Yeah, can you send us the link so that we can view the text?
Sure.
And then yeah, and then we could draft something from the COA.
Well, this looks like it's the text. And when you look at legislative texts, they really aren't very helpful. And this is a good example of this, how legislators present bills. You have to know what you're doing, what's happening. This is amending. It's giving people another year, 1 year later.
Yeah, I don't really understand. I don't really understand it.
Okay, what this is doing, it's going to an existing general law, which presumably has to do with this taxation, And it's giving people one more year after the death of a member or an elderly person to pay the tax. So it's
What tax? That's what I don't understand.
well, we would have to go to chapter 59 of the general laws to find out what tax. I think,
Okay,
I believe it's a property, but I'm not sure. I don't remember. I can
Okay.
ask about that. I can go to the person who's supporting it. Okay, we're not going to go back to that. But
okay, no, that's okay. I can look through, I can look back. I see what you mean now. I thought what we were gonna see was a little more of an explanation, but I understand how
Yeah.
yeah, I'm getting it. Yeah.
yeah, but I could, the league, okay, if you go to the league site, which I can send to you, there should be more of an explanation, because when the league member when the member of the Legislative Action Committee presents the bills they want to support, and they have to present a narrative which contains a full description of what is actually going on in the bill. And I do not know how to get rid of, well, wait a second. Okay, let's see. And Pat had to present, no, that just takes us back there. Sorry, that's not helpful. But Pat, and these these descriptions will ultimately end up on the league's website, but they don't seem to be there yet because I can't seem to bring it up. Oops, sorry. And I've just gone off it. But anyway, you get the basic idea.
Yes, thank you.
So try to get more information for you and a link to the bill. But when you link to the bill, it's going to look just like I showed you. It's okay. This is the act. It's act relative to taxes due upon. Okay. But then this is where the language changes.
Okay, so right, so we have to go back to that chapter 59 or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yep. But as soon as the league member, the Legislative Action Committee member, sorry, we don't want that. Writes her description is posted, then you'll be able to see that, and that would be more informative than just seeing.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
that will be very helpful. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Let's see. Looking for. There we go.
Well, if we can all hear what we're doing, there we are. Okay.
Thank you, Susan.
Have we concluded our business for this meeting?
I think so. I just wanted, good. I had a couple quick little bits. One, to say that EOEA is doing an inclusion survey, which I'm happy to fill out on behalf of us. And you probably all, I sent you all some information from Senior Medicare Patrol about a Zoom workshop coming up about reframing aging, making old a positive. So anyway, and think that's it. Just. So our next meeting is
Okay.
June 14th.
Mhm. Okay,
Anything else?
Nope. So.
Jeanette, you're muted. Jeanette is muted. There. Okay.
Linda, I
Okay,
hope you have a nice vacation.
Thank you. Thank you.
okay. So with that, I move that we adjourn the meeting at, where are we? 6:56 PM.
I second.
Okay, Bernhard, aye.
Faber, I.
Ray, I.
God, I.
Susan?
Susan looks frozen. Oh,
Oh, yeah, I was lip reading.
Susan's froze. She agrees.
Okay. Oh, she's muted on the one down under. Susan, you're muted. Okay,
I'm sorry, Millinger, I.
okay.
Scott,
And
aye.
Jeanette, aye. Yeah,
and Stockton, I.
Okay.
great.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you for hosting, Susan,
No problem. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you.
Janice.
Okay.
Good night.
Great to see you,
Bye.
Janice.
Yes, good to see you,
and
Janice.
everyone
Good
else.
to
Yep.
see you. Yeah.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Linda's the host.